Hello everybody, welcome back to WhizDum Wednesday. It's a weekly podcast where I basically talk about things in life you may not understand or things within yourself that hopefully can bring a new perspective to you and to make you a whiz out of making wise decisions and to steam them up to make them even better. Hello, welcome back to WhizDum Wednesday. I do know it's been a little while again. I want to give you guys some updates on things while I'm here and fresh and ready to go, because I want to just express how I'm doing and what I'm doing for like the rest of the year, probably even continuing on for the next WhizDum Wednesdays. I plan to make WhizDum Wednesday, for the most part, a bi-weekly thing. Here's the reason. The main reason I want to make it bi-weekly is, one, it gives me more time to where I don't have to constantly talk and feel like, oh crud, I'm gonna miss something, I'm gonna miss it. I need to get a subject out real fast within every week. Every week is a little bit hard to constantly throw out one every week. Now, every 2 weeks is understandable, makes it easier on me, it makes me have less stress over the weeks. So that's what I'm gonna do, is it dials me back some. But within the weeks that I don't do a WhizDum Wednesday, I plan to upload a video of content, funny content, you know? I don't want to be a person who's always serious, and I know I post a lot of talks on YouTube that makes me feel like a very serious person. But I want to be like how I am on Twitch, where I can be a serious person, but also funny at the same time, or just know how to have fun. All right, I want you to have fun on YouTube, at least, of the YouTube experience, rather than just always getting the serious side of me. So that's where I've been for a little while. I've been thinking about how to do it, and last week didn't really go well for me. And today was actually supposed to be a day where I had to go drive and stuff like that. But I'm guessing God wants some stuff done here, so He let me not have to drive today. So I'm pretty happy about that. But anyway, another thing too. The WhizDum Wednesday mugs of Christmas, the Christmas WhizDum mugs, they are now off the store. You can't get them until next Christmas, but if you pay me an extra $50, I'll probably send you one. You know what I mean? I'm kidding. But you have to wait till next Christmas until you want another Christmas mug. Thank you so much for everyone who bought a Christmas mug. You guys are mighty majestic. I know a lot of people have sent me pictures. My dad's bought some, my mom's bought some, my friends bought some. It was pretty nice, and I really thank y'all. Really, y'all. It's helped me out a lot. It makes me feel really cool that people really wanted to buy those mugs. I worked a lot on that too, so it's really cool. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Another thing too is I want to talk about is something I posted on Twitter actually. We'll talk about our recap first. So we're gonna recap a little bit of when. My last WhizDum Wednesday was when. So I wanted to ask you that question as a refresher of, when are you gonna move forward? When are you going to walk forward? When are you going to make your goals, chase your goals, do something about it? I post on Twitter, and I feel like this falls under it a little bit, and it's, you will never be ready, especially when it comes to God. If you're a person who follows God, you're never going to be ready. That's just how it is. A lot of people, including myself, want to wait till we are ready. You're never going to be ready. God's going to throw you into something that you don't even know what the crud's going to happen. And then you're like, man, what the crud? He qualifies the unqualified, just like Moses, all right? Now, I know I'm talking Christian here, but I'll be done in just a second. But just like Moses, dude couldn't speak. He was over 40 years old. He was older, and he came in and he spoke majestic words, all right? Just like a boss, all right? You'll never be ready. And if you're always looking for an excuse, you're gonna find one. That's what faith's important. Have faith in what you can do. Listen. Shoot for high goals. Go for it. Even if you don't hit the high goals, at least you made a goal. It's better than hitting nothing. That's what we talked about in my the meeting with my pastor and our staff team at our church. It was so cool. I was like, how could I forget something like that? That's also in the book, by the way. Mark Batterson's Draw the Circle. It's such a good book. You guys need to read that. That's in there, you know. You're never going to be ready. But just because you won't be ready doesn't mean you shouldn't move forward. Because if you're gonna wait until you're ready, you're gonna wait your entire lifetime. Don't ever use the excuse, oh, I'll wait till I'm ready. Take it on now. Learn while you do it. All right, listen. Sometimes, yes, you gotta work up a skill set, sure, but learn while you're doing it. If you keep waiting, you're just gonna wait forever. And the recap of when are you gonna get your goals done? When are you gonna go forward and move forward? Go check it out though. It's called WhizDum Wednesday Win. and it's pretty nice. I really like it. It's a thing that I share my own experiences of doing a goal writing and to write your own goals. And I have my own goals list set up, which I need to get a new one set up, so I'm going to be working on that as well. But anyway, let's get into our majestic segment. So I can already guess. All right, you're looking at this like, all right, what in the world did you put in this title, and why is it called white? All right, you might be thinking, oh gosh, Derpy might be talking about white supremacy or the race of someone's skin. No, I will never touch those subjects, and they're way too controversial for me to touch. We're actually going to be talking about white lies. So if you thought you could juke away, now here's the reason why I didn't call it white lies and just called it white. Because I feel like if you would have saw that it was white lies, you might have walked away. And now you're stuck here, all right? Now you can't back out. Please don't back out. Please, listen. You got to listen to what I got to say, all right? White lies are definitely a bad thing, all right? And a lot of people have a misconstrued conception of it. So I wanted to kind of touch on white lies. Because here's the thing, everyone has done it. And before you come at me with your pitchforks, all right, listen, for the people who claim they have never done it, if you've got yourself a boyfriend, a girlfriend, kids, friends you care about, family you love, you have probably white lied in your life. I mean, you had to have. There's no way you haven't. All right, listen, I've white lied, my dad's white lied, you've white lied, your mom's white lied, even your dead grandma or dead ancestor has white lied before. White lies are just a thing that's natural to people, all right? So you had to have white lied before. I want to first start off by saying what a white lie is. A white lie is a harmless, trivial lie, especially one told to avoid hurting someone's feelings. And listen, I get it. Understandable reason, all right? You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I get it completely. It's an understandable thing, all right? Listen, I get so scared of hurting someone's feelings that I say things that I necessarily don't mean. And it's to avoid that conflict, that hurting someone's feelings kind of the thing, and that's not good. It may feel like it's good, and it may feel good to them, but it's not good for your heart, and it's not good for their heart, because they're believing a lie at that point. Believe it or not, a white lie is still a lie. No matter if it's meant for good or bad, it's still a lie. There are different exceptions in kind of the deals, which I'll get into later, but I want to talk about the certain subjects that you could possibly be white lying in. The first one is excuses. The second one is something good and okay, and it isn't. So if you're saying something's good when it's not, or when in your opinion it's not, to make yourself look better or to look good, and confrontation. So I just want to say that those are the ones we're going to be talking about. I also want to say that just because something is a human nature doesn't mean it's okay to do all the time. I understand that it's like white lying is a thing of human nature. Sorry, we naturally do white lies because we want someone to feel better about themselves. We want someone to, there's understandable good reasons to white lie. The first one, excuses. So excuses is one to where you don't really want to hurt someone's feelings. So let's say you missed out on a party. Let's say you missed out on going to someone's stream, or let's just say you missed out on going to a friend's event or someone's get-together, stuff like that. And you make an excuse on why you didn't show up to make it sound like it was a legitimate reason, but maybe you were just lazy that day. Maybe you were just... you just didn't feel like going. Maybe you just don't really want to go with that person or go to that person to this place or something like that. Instead, you said, "Oh, sorry, I had a doctor's appointment. I had this, and then you did it so you didn't hurt the other person's feelings of like, oh, I don't actually want to hang out with you, kind of the deal, which is fine. I understand not hurting the other person's feelings, but here's the problem with that too: is that you're misleading them. You're making them think, oh, snap, well, this person had an appointment. They could have just told me or something like that, and I would have been fine with that. Don't lie about these kinds of things. Just be honest. Listen, here's the thing. When someone notices someone's honest, full on honest, not white lies, they see this and they're like, wow, like it opens their eyes and it makes you more trustworthy if you're being fully honest. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some things you probably shouldn't say. Like, it's okay to stay silent at certain points, because some things you could say could end up being bad, but it's not good to white lie instead of hurt someone's feelings, I guess, if that makes sense. So that's mainly the one thing, excuses. Excuses are usually a big one of, like, maybe it's your boss, maybe it's your family members, maybe you just missed out on something, you just didn't really want to get in trouble or cause conflict with them, so you white lied and said, yeah, I did this, even though you didn't do it. That's mainly what a white lie and excuses is. The next one is saying something good when it isn't. Typically, this falls under art. I'm just going to be honest with you. Art is a thing that people are very self-conscious about. And so they don't want to have their feelings hurt or don't want to dish out any bad feelings. I'm going to be honest with you. Your parents are very good white liars when it comes to art, all right? Art in the aspect of you not liking it. And then you say you like it, but in your heart, you're not feeling it. And so here's the thing about that is that, one, you're going to feel it in your heart after doing it. And it's going to hurt your heart, even though you're trying to say it to make them feel better. So in the aspect of, instead of saying it looks good when you don't like it, say it's not really your style, or something that's more honest than misleading. When you mislead people, it causes confusion and it throws a bad notion onto other people. You know what I mean? It gives them a wrong sense of idea. It's like they're believing a lie. No one wants to be lied to, and it's okay. Like, now, don't, I'm gonna be honest with you, all right? Don't downright trash something. There's a difference between good criticism and bad criticism, all right? Bad criticism is straight up destructive, where you just say it's garbage, you know what I mean? Don't say something's garbage. Just acknowledge the good things about something like that, you know what I mean? Like I said, just say it's not your style, stuff like that. I mean, just be honest in that aspect, to where it's still not hurting someone's feelings, but you're being honest in the aspect. You know what I mean? It's better to say, oh, instead of, oh, that looks real good, sweetie, that looks really good. Just say, oh, well, that's not my style. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're a parent and you got like a little 6-year-old that draws you something, it's a different story. It's different because of the fact that they don't know how to draw, obviously. They're 6 years old. But they're drawing it and they're giving it to you. That's sentimental value. It's a difference between sentimental value and having something as a lie. So, like, you don't have to lie to your kid. You could say, hey, that looks good, and look at it through the sentimental value of it. Your kid gave you something they took the time to draw. That is a good thing to look at it as. And I think it's a sweet thing to get a drawing from your kid. I think that's beautiful. I think that's sweet. I'm like, bro, if I get a daughter in the future and she draws me a little fish with a princess dress on it, and it looks like a squirrel, you bet I'm hanging that thing up on the freaking fridge, all right? But you don't have to, like, bust your heart up over it, you know what I mean? And when it comes to someone who's an adult, all right, and they're drawing like garbage, all right, and they go back from a different thing that they did before, just be honest and don't call it garbage, obviously, but, praise the progress. When it comes to art, you need to really uplift people's progress, you know what I mean? That's the main thing you need to do. Because here's the thing is that, like, yes, sometimes, and including myself, I have, especially at the start, I did real good at one point in improvement, and then I dialed back because I was scared. And so, like, I luckily had my instructor who told me it was garbage. But some people don't learn from it was garbage. And I learned from the it was garbage thing. But some people are different. You have to understand that you need to at least see progress in someone when they're doing that, and then say, hey, this is really good. Because here's the thing. When you uplift somebody on their progress for art, it feels good. Don't say oh, this looks good, because here's the thing, all right? I know what it's like to be white lied to, and when someone says, oh, that looks good, when they know nothing about art, obviously I'm not going to take it seriously. But especially if, like, you can tell they have this tone to them, by the way. This is how you point out a white liar in your life, and I know this is going to cause some major conflict with a lot of people, but I want to tell you this so you can be aware of it. When they lower their voice down, when they talk like they're talking to a child to you, and they say, "Oh, that looks good," stuff like that, that's a white lie. That is a white lie. So you have to watch out with the vocal tones as well. And don't get offended when someone white lies to you as well. They mean it out of good of heart, all right? Most of the time, if you're white lying, in this case of art, they mean it out of a good heart. So please don't don't go after your parents and be like, you lied to me this entire time. You don't think it's good. They mean it out of a nice thing. My parents have lied to me and said, oh, this looks really good, even though they don't know anything about it. And I could tell that they really didn't really, they're not people of art. So it's different. And so I'm not saying that's like a bad thing. It's just them trying to be nice to you. However, I think it is the best, especially if there's an artist who's really focused on or fixated on improvement. I'm for example fixated on improvement. So a white lie doesn't really help me, and it makes me value opinion a lot less when I get white lied to. That's just my personal opinion as someone who wants to improve. So when I'm getting white lied to, it really feels like it kind of feels like, I'm like, I don't trust your opinion. So if I need to ask for someone's opinion, I'm going to ask somebody who will gladly tell me if they don't like it or if it's just something that's not their taste. Another thing under the something is good when it isn't is when a friend does something bad and they're proud of it, but you don't want to be honest with them because it could hurt their feelings. Basically, maybe one guy got real fed up with some other person bullying in a way, and he beat the everlasting crud out of him. And he was proud that he, hurt somebody and even probably put them in the hospital. That's not a good thing to be proud of. Standing up for somebody who is weak is a good thing to be proud of, but hurting somebody to the extreme to over the amount of how much that had happened in the situation is something not to be proud of. And you don't want to tell him, oh man, that's not a good thing because, he feels good and he defended somebody, but he ended up really hurting somebody else way worse. That's not a good thing. These examples of people feel like they're on the right path, doing these right things, and you don't want to tell them because of confrontation, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, is hard. It's hard to really tell someone you love and care about that, what you're doing is wrong. I know how it feels. Trust me, I get it. I have struggled a lot with it, and I've gotten better at getting so to telling somebody, hey, listen, this is not cool. You have to hold people accountable. You can't just let them run free, because then when they run free and then you get to the point where like, hey, listen, you need to stop. Guess what? They're already so far into it, you lost them. Don't let somebody fall down the wrong kind of path and then think, oh, it's okay. It's just nudging the line a little bit. We won't touch it. You know what I mean? Or they're dancing on the line of wrong and right there. You need to say something to them. And yes, it's going to hurt. You don't want to offend anybody, stuff like that. But if you're not true to yourself, then you're doing harm to you and you're doing harm to them because you're not being honest. If you're a friend or if you have a friend or boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that, be honest with them. Honesty is the best thing you can do. Now, if it's your kid, I get it. We'll use this for a good example, actually. If your kid does something wrong, you'll spank them. All right, don't spank your friends. All right, that's kind of weird. But if your kid does something wrong, you spank them. You don't lie to them. All right, you don't say, "Oh, that's okay. That's okay." It's just normal for a kid to do. No, if your kid I was about to say drowns your goldfish. If your kid hurts your pet or something like that, yes, your kid's gonna most likely get a spanking or get told he cannot do that or ground him. That's the proper response. You need to hold people accountable in a way, not ground them because they're adults, but hold people accountable in the same way for it, like you would do your kid. It's understandable that you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you want them on the right path. So don't let them stray from the right path just because you don't want that confrontation or that feeling in your heart. You're scared to hurt their feelings, and that's not cool. Another thing is social acceptance. Now, this is what I talked about to make yourself look better or look good. I actually had a conversation recently with a couple of my friends that really gave me off that, they value social acceptance, and that's an understandable thing. We're humans, so we want to feel like we fit in. A lot of the times, people white lie about themselves, and it's not harmful to anybody else, so they think, all right, well, it's fine to white lie about this. It's fine to say, oh, I actually did it this many times. I did, it's like saying I did 52 sit-ups today, even though you did 12. You know what I mean? You make yourself look better, even though it's not really the case. It's understandable to want that social acceptance, but you should never fight for that kind of thing. Nor do you need to lie about it to get to that situation. Social acceptance is something that feels good, but not good to gain by small lies to make you look cooler. That's what I wrote down in my notes, and that's what I believe. You shouldn't have to make up small lies to make yourself look better. Just be honest. I've had a lot of cases where I could clearly tell people were Googling things right near me, by the way, and, to questions I had asked them before. And I guess it was an acceptance thing of they wanted to be cool, but to me, I could see right through it. And I'm like, man, you don't gotta lie to me, And it hurts when I see people try to white lie themselves or lie and say they know these things, and when they don't, it hurts. It's like, I know you're fighting for the social acceptance, but you don't need it. Be true to you. Be true to you. Don't sit there and try to lie and try to fit in. Don't sit there and trash on somebody else when other people are trashing on them. I did struggle with that myself, and so I do have to work on that within my own heart. Because there's a couple of situations where I've been around people who have trash talked other people, and I have started trash talking them myself, and just to feel like I was a part of the conversation. It's not a good thing to do. Be true to yourself and true to your heart. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're following yourself on a bad path, then change who you are and then be true to you. Don't be afraid of if someone's not going to accept you socially. And I get it. Listen, here's the thing. We live in an age where opinions will probably get you shot and killed, or something where opinions are just like, will rile up the slightest little thing. A little spark of opinion will really rile up anybody. Just be true to yourself. Listen, if they can't handle an opinion or your opinion, they don't need to be in your life, all right? They don't need to be around. If they can't calmly accept what you have to say in a way of like, all right, that's your way of view of life, then that's not a person you need to be around, all right? The big one, confrontation. So confrontation is a thing that I think I actually, while I was writing the bullet point for confrontation, I had added something crazy cool to it that I didn't think about, but I thought about it because I've done it before. Confrontation is a thing where most people don't want. We don't want to confront anybody, which this actually can count as a little bit of a subject of confrontation, because I was planning to do one on confrontation, so I hope this kind of counts. Sometimes when we're confronted, we come up with these little white lies, you know what I mean? Whether it's to confront somebody or being confronted. I'm going to talk on confronting someone first. When you're confronting someone, you don't need to white lie them. I have been sugarcoated a lot of the times when I've been confronted. And I will tell you, as a person who seeks honesty and loves honesty, it is the biggest thing that riles me up. I just want to be told the truth. That's it. I don't want to be sugarcoated. I don't want to say, oh, listen, I know that you do these certain things, and I know that, these things aren't really cool, and that's not really cool, and, beating around the bush. Stuff like that's not cool. Beating around the bush, to me, in and of itself, is a white lie. It's you're trying to spare someone's feelings without hurting their feelings. Don't ever beat around the bush with anybody. Personally, I think beating around the bush with somebody is a thing that's time wasting, and not only that, it's not being fully honest until it's broken out of you. You've got to work on that. Listen, if you keep beating around the bush and trying to confront somebody or tell them something they need to know, and you don't get around to telling them, and you keep just beating around the bush on it, they're going to stop coming to you for opinions. That's just how it is. As a person that I am, if someone kept beating around the bush on me, I'd stop coming to them for opinions. That's just how it is. I want someone who can be upfront and honest with me, not say, oh, I wanted to tell you this, man, but I didn't tell you. Or, I wanted to tell you this when you did it, but I waited 3 days to tell you. Stuff like that's not cool. You know what I mean? It's not a cool thing to do, because it makes me feel like, well, snap, I was doing something wrong for 3 days, but you didn't tell me. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody has different views and goes on life, but nobody wants, I get it, no one likes being confronted or feels good being confronted, but it's better to be confronted than to be led on a wrong kind of path, especially when you're telling white lies about it. Telling someone they're okay when they're not. I made a mistake, no one told me. That's what their excuse is going to be down the road, and honestly, it's a viable excuse. I made a mistake, but no one told me. Everyone kept telling me it was okay I was doing this, it was okay I was doing this, but nobody told me it was wrong. You need to watch out for that kind of stuff. Now, being confronted. Here is the thing I have done, and I've seen plenty of other people do, and I'd like to think we all have done this at some point when we have been confronted. We sit there and say these little lies where, like, oh, well, I'm a good person, especially when we're Christians. All right, like, listen, all right, as a Christian, we think, oh, all right, we're the holy boys. All right, we don't got anything wrong with us sometimes. All right, listen, sometimes we do. We're human. We're not perfect. We're not Jesus. You know what I mean? Even if you're not a Christian, sometimes we like to think of us being a good person if we're a good person. We like to bounce things off. If someone comes up to you and says, hey, I think you did this wrong, and you come up with some white lie saying, oh, well, I actually did it for this reason when it wasn't the actual reason, that's a white lie. It doesn't hurt my feelings if you're confronted. Like if I were to confront you and say, oh, I think you did this the wrong way, but you come up with some excuse, an elaborate excuse of, well, I was actually doing this for a different reason, stuff like that, even though it wasn't the reason, it was to avoid conflict. Don't avoid conflict like that, or not conflict, sorry, confrontation. It's okay to avoid conflict, but confrontation is way more important. If your confrontation is the result of confliction, then that's on them or you, whoever decides to turn it into a conflict. Confrontation is a thing that needs to be, you need to hold people accountable for what they do. And not close your eye off to one side of a thing just because they agree with you politically, opinion-wise, or just the way they live. And you also have to work on yourself and making sure you can create the atmosphere where you can be confronted easier, all right? Because if you're not creating the atmosphere of being confronted easier, like if you're a person who gets really mad about being confronted, you're the problem. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're the reason why no one wants to confront you, because you make it harder for people to confront you. So if you're very angry when someone gives you an opinion that they think, oh, you did this wrong, and you get real mad and start yelling at them, then yes, they are not going to confront you because they don't want to be yelled at. You need to be in control of your emotions. Now, however, if this person is okay with you confronting them and you're still scared to confront them, that's something you have to work on within yourself. Because then it's at that point, you are the person that's preventing the other person from knowing what they're doing is wrong. Don't wait for someone else to do what you need to do. A lot of the times we want to wait for someone else to do it and get us out of it. You know what I mean? Even God, for example, a lot of the times we'll probably pray to God and say, get us out of it, instead of get us through it. Let me do it. Let me confront them. Let me have the strength to confront them. Stuff like that. Don't be trying to get out of the situations, but try to get through the situations. Now, don't get me wrong, depends on your situation, obviously. I mean, in a confrontation situation, get yourself through it, not out of it. Because if you can get yourself through a confrontation situation, you will have a better look on life, and you'll be called to your bones, all right? You'll be called to your heart. You'll be like, all right, I need to fix these things, or agree to disagree. That's the best way to confront. Don't try to get out of a confrontation. Listen, I know how scary it is, but guess what? We are human. We are going to be wrong at some point in our lives. We're always going to be wrong. Don't try to get out of a situation just because it doesn't feel right or you just don't want to be confronted. There are good ways of handling things, and trying to get out of a situation of confrontation is not good. Making up white lies, saying, "Oh, I do this, I did this, I did it for this reason." Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. It's not good, man. It's not good. I got a quote here that I saw from a quote.com kind of the deal. But it says, when we tell little lies, we become progressively colorblind. It is better to remain silent than to mislead. This is by James E. Faust. And I agree with that. I think it's better to just be quiet than to mislead people. A lot of the times we, especially with confrontation, we try to mislead people off of confronting us. So we're like, oh, I did it for this reason. But in reality, you did it for another reason, and you don't want to get in trouble for it. Or maybe you're lying and saying something looks good when it isn't, or you're trying to be socially accepted, so you're misleading people into thinking that you're somebody that you're not. That's another thing, too. Why lying about yourself for social acceptance, like I mentioned before, but just making people believe that you're something that you're not. I know a lot of people who try to talk about the good that they do, who try to always talk about the good that they do to make people think that they're good people, and that's not cool. That isn't cool. Like it's humble bragging in a way. You know what I mean? Now, it's okay to share some things with your friends or something like that. Like, something really cool happened, like especially in Christian wise, you know what I mean? Like if God did something really powerful in your life and you just wanted to talk about it with your friend, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've seen a lot of people before, they've humble bragged, they've said, oh, I've done this good thing before, I've done this good thing before. I'm like, it doesn't matter, you know? It doesn't matter what you've done before or whatever you do. If you talk about the good that you do, for the most part, you're probably not a good person. If you're a person who does good behind the scenes, doesn't brag about it, doesn't boast it in the light unless you just have to, then to me that's a good person. That's good behind the scenes. That's a good person. If you're constantly bringing it to light, talking about all the good things that you do just to be accepted socially, probably bad. You know what I mean? It's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. It's going to make you look better. It's still not good because it's a lie. A lie is a lie. Okay, so we have another one here. This is more towards the understandable reasons of why you want to white lie to someone you love and care about. So I wrote this down too in my notes, and I'm going to bring this up. All right, listen, I'm not trying to get any of y'all slapped. I'm trying to get y'all saved from your heart being destroyed and then not getting slapped. All right, the do I look fat concept. Instead of saying yes or lying and saying no, depending on what your situation is, obviously, to me, the do I look fat concept is like a trap. You know what I mean? It's a trap. All right, they're trying to get you. All right. But instead, you know, if it does make someone look bigger than usual, don't say it does make them look bigger than usual, because you got to love them and accept them for who they are. So a good way to get out around this is actually a cheat code, all right, for you homies that are guys or people that ask if they look fat in a dress or something that they wear. This is just a cheat code. But instead of saying yes or lying and saying no, try saying you shouldn't care about what you look like. Learn to love yourself for who you are. I'm going to love and appreciate you no matter what you wear. I like that. That's a good answer, bro. Listen, all right, I'm going to be honest with you, dog. If I heard that, I'd be like, man, dude, that's some material right there, in my opinion. All right, but you know, that's a good way and a response for it. One, you're not lying. Two, you're also teaching them a social acceptance kind of the thing where accept yourself for who you are. You know what I mean? That's not lying either. That's not white lying. You're being honest. You love them and appreciate them no matter what they wear. And it makes them like less self-conscious about themselves. And anyone who is self-conscious about themselves, learn how to accept yourself. Listen, if you do feel like you're getting bigger, then go through the time of getting yourself to not look that big. Or if you feel like you're too scrawny and look way too skinny, you know, don't feel like you can't be socially accepted or you're just some weird oddball out. And anybody who has any situation like that, by the way, I hope all the boyfriends out there and the guys that were talking about that have to deal with the do I look fat concept, I hope you said hallelujah and you start saying the stuff I just said. But yeah, some white lies may be acceptable to kids and the other ones that we love. And so, like, you know, you don't want, I understand when you love someone, all right? You don't want to make them feel bad. You want them to care and love about themselves, all right? But there's better ways of doing it. Now, for kids, for example, I feel like white lies towards kids are technically okay depending on your situation. It's kind of like withholding things, you know what I mean? Like, you know, instead of a kid, you would hold some secrets from your kids, for example. So, like, when they ask where babies come from, all right, you know, you just basically tell them, all right, you tell them all these other things, all right, because you don't really want them to know where babies come from. And I'm not going to tell y'all just in case there's some kids that actually watch this. But, you know, there's that. You know, those white lies are okay in a sense, but also it's not okay, I guess, if that makes sense too. It's good to not regularly white lie to your kids, but like there are some white lies that are acceptable. You know, it's okay to say something looks good when someone makes it for a first time or are happy about making it for the first time. That's okay. But if they keep making the same thing over and over again with no improvement, you have to go through the strength of saying, all right, this isn't as good as what you think it is. It could be better in my opinion. Just state your own opinion. Because like I've had a conversation about art, for example, and everybody has pretty much told me art's different from everyone's perspective and point of view. And sure, we can say that. And this one's going to get dicey roaded, so we might have a conversation about this one after I say this. But, you know, just because someone buys something doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing your best on it. Or that it's going to bring the world. Because someone could buy it, take it home, and not do anything with it. don't take buying it as an example of, oh, I'm doing fine. Take it as, don't take it like that. But here's the thing. If you buy a card and you don't like it and you never use it, that's a white lie itself, by the way. Another thing, I should have brought money into this. If you buy something to make someone feel better about themselves and you don't use it, you're white lying. You're saying, oh, I'll put it up and all that, but you got it tucked away and never use it. That's white lying. Not only that, it's white lying that makes you lose your money too. So not only that, I guess you could say it's a win for the person who made the art or made the thing that you bought, but you only bought it to make them feel better. So technically, you lost your money and you white lied. It'd be better off if you just bought it and, appreciated it, but you bought it instead. And now they've got money and you don't have money now. You can buy something without white lying about it. Because if you buy something, maybe to support them, maybe donate something to them, maybe to help them improve, something like that. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'll hang it up. I'll hang it up for you. I think your art's beautiful. And then you never do it. Help them out. Inspire them, You know what I mean? Like, you can't just sit there and get away with, white lying. Because guess what? Your own heart feels it. You never hang it up. And what if they come over one day and they're like, oh, I thought you said you'd hang it up. And then they notice that it's not hung up. It's better off to just, if you want to help support them, get them going, support them then. You don't have to white lie and say, oh, I'll hang it up and buy it and then never do anything with it. I just felt that was on my heart. I'm not sure why. Someone out there is probably buying something and white lying about it. So whoever that is, watch yourself, homie. Be careful of white lying. It's a very easy thing to do. And like I mentioned before, listen, we've all done it. All right. I've done it myself. I've told people things that weren't the truth a lot of the time to spare their feelings. I've gotten less of doing so. And well, with this coming up, I've also feel like me doing it less has made me feel a lot better. But that's just a main thing that I kind of wanted to throw out there was white lying is not good to keep practicing in a way. It's okay to do certain things that help somebody out, for example, but white lying is usually never good. And it could also be misleading anyway is not good. Unless you're just trying to get somebody to not know something or be keeping a little secret. Sometimes we keep secrets, understandable. If you're white lying so you don't get hurt or anything like that, to keep secrets, I understand that. It's just a good practice not to constantly mislead people, because white lies are misleading. They're very small misleads, but they're still misleading. Misleading is not good. We're gonna do a little bit of a recap because that's pretty much. I think I've touched pretty much everything that I've wanted to touch, but we'll do a recap. Remember, a white lie is a harmless or trivial lie, especially one to avoid hurting someone's feelings. You're trying not to hurt someone's feelings. That's what a white lie is. We'll go through these different things as well. On excuses, listen, don't make excuses. Don't make these random excuses up where it's like, oh, well, I didn't go because my dog had diarrhea. My dog did this, all this stuff. I really wanted to be there, but I just couldn't be there today. I'm so sorry. Stuff like that. If you have a good viable reason, then that's fine. You don't have to white lie about it. But if you don't have a reason, you were just lazy, it's better to be honest and say, I'm sorry, I was just really lazy. I didn't want to get out of bed. Or it's better to just not even make an excuse at all. And then to mislead them and say, oh, I had to go to a dentist appointment. I had to do this, had to do that. There's a lot of stuff. Making excuses isn't nice. And I know it's to be nice and to help avoid them hurting their feelings, but in a way, other people can see right through your white lies, and then that you look less trustworthy. I guess that makes sense. So it's harder for people to open up to you when you white lie a lot. And a lot of people will pick up on this eventually. If you feel like no one's going to catch you in a white lie, it'll happen eventually, trust me. Lies always get thrown out into the open, all right? It's just how it is, all right? It's either you're going to be the one throwing them out in the open or someone's going to find you out and get you out in the open. So just letting you know, dial back on the white lying. For excuses or anything in general, I would say. Something that's good that it isn't. Art. All right, listen, art's obviously a big span and vast thing that you can definitely tell if it's good in different ways. Here's the thing. There's usually a concept, all right? If it's your kid, highly understandable. Like I mentioned, if it's your kid, think that art's like one of the coolest things in the world, all right? Just inspire. Inspire instead of mislead, I guess, if that makes sense. when it comes to art, don't sit there and white lie to somebody saying, I don't like it, or, oh, I really like it, and then you don't really like it. Inspire them to do more. Always inspire them to improve. That's one of the best things you can do. Inspire them to improve, or at least say something of your personal opinion. I've talked with a couple of artists that really get anxious over the fact that I feel like people are just lying to me. Won't tell me the truth when they don't like something. You know, if they don't like something, they can be honest with me. And I understand, and I get that anxiety about it, because you want to have honesty within your life. That's why I'm telling you this, is that if it comes to adult or teenager people who are like, you know, who are actively trying to improve their art, they don't want to hear, oh, it looks good. They want to hear criticism, good criticism. And that's what's important to them. Don't sit there and lie and say it's good when it's not. A lot of artists are anxious about it. Inspire them. Don't mislead them. When a friend does something bad, don't praise them for it. Don't sit there and say, oh, you did such a good job. You pounded a dude and put him in the hospital. You know, there's a certain part that things can go to a certain extreme. Don't sit there and, you know, praise bad things that they do. Or even white lie and say, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're doing a good job, even though they're doing a very bad job and you need to fix things for them. By the way, let's bring up another one. In the workplace. So, if someone's doing a terrible job at something, tell them they're doing it wrong. Not in a way that's rude or mean, but tell them in a way that's wrong and show them what they're doing is wrong. That's how you help improve people. Don't sit there and be like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Just keep doing it the way you're doing, or something like that, because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Guess what? It's going to cost their job, because you could have saved their job, by the way, if you would have just taught them the right way. Just saying. To make yourself look better and good in front of others. Social acceptance. I get it. Like I mentioned before, social acceptance is a very, very cool thing to have. But you shouldn't have to sit there and build it off of lies. It feels good to have social acceptance, but when it's built off on these small little white lies, it's a terrible thing, because you're misleading. You're showing people a fake version of you that isn't real. Or saying you're cooler than what you actually are. Don't hype yourself up to be cooler than what you actually are, all right? Don't sit there and say, oh, man, dude, I'm going to be real. I did 52 sit-ups today. I did so good. Or kids like to do this too, which is a social acceptance thing as well. When they go outside and it's freezing cold, and then they say, oh, I'm not cold at all. And I'm like, what? It's like, we see right through you, you know that, homie? But, you know, they're kids. Obviously, they just want to be cool. It's understandable if you're a kid, because you just want to be accepted, all right? And if any of you are kids that are listening to this, all right, or around the age of like 12 or something like that, because 12-year-olds are usually the ones that are like outside, that are like, yeah, it's not cold. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, don't do that. That's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, just be you. I understand you're going to be an oddball for being you, but just be you. There's nothing wrong with being an oddball. Just don't lie about it. There's no reason to make yourself look cool. It's the same equivalent of lying and say it's not cold outside when it really is. Don't make yourself look tougher than you actually are. Just be honest with how you are. All right, listen, I've got a big pregnant stomach. All right, I'm a scrawny guy with a big belly. All right, that's just how it is. Well, it's not that big, but you know, it folds. All right, listen, that means it's big to me. All right, but you know, honestly, like, I'm not gonna sit here and go, man, dude, I lift like a boss. I can arm curl like a boss. No, I can't. All right, listen, that's why I rely on most of y'all to make me healthier. That's a joke for the Twitch stream. But yeah, just don't fight for acceptance like that, you know? You don't have to fight for acceptance, all right? And confrontation, sometimes in life, instead of getting confronted or wanting to be confronted, we bounce them off with white lies. And we don't want to be confronted. We don't want to confront other people. We feel bad because it's our friends, it's our family, it's someone that we don't know. We don't know if we're going to get in trouble or not. It's good to confront rather than conflict. All right, and conflict may start in the future because your lack of confrontation. Yes, conflict can be a result of confrontation. If that's the thing, then just move on with your life. You know, as in the Bible they say, kick off your dust off your feet, and walk off and go somewhere else, man. It's understandable. Don't beat around the bush. Beating around the bush to me is a white lie itself. All right, you're sitting there not being fully honest. You're like, you're trying to sugarcoat. Don't sugarcoat. Sugarcoat is one of the worst things you can do to somebody. It's like you're trying to tell them the truth, but you sprinkle lies on top of it, and then therefore it's just a true statement, not the truth. And then so it's like I don't know. It's a thing that I just felt on my heart to say, that you just can't really do that, because it makes them believe, oh, that I'm okay even though they're not. And yes, I'll give you guys the cheat code again, the do I look fat concept. Instead of saying yes or lying, try saying you shouldn't care what you look like. Learn to love yourself for who you are. I'm going to love you and appreciate you no matter what you wear. Bro, in my opinion, that's some Fabio language right there, dude. You're gonna fall in love, like you legit. I think at that point you're getting married. All right, like surprise marriage. That's what the quota is. But but yeah, that's just how I feel. I feel like, just be honest in a way of like, with how you feel. Especially with kids. I understand it's okay to lie. Like, it's okay to white lie your kid at some point. Like, you don't want them to know, like I mentioned, where babies come from. You don't want them to know certain things. You don't want them to feel like their art is bad when they just start trying to do art. Inspire instead of mislead. I think that's one of the main things I want you to take from this is instead of misleading somebody, inspire them. Inspire them to do better. And if it doesn't result, if inspiring isn't the answer to some of these, then, stay quiet rather than mislead. A quote here from James E. Frost. When we tell little white lies, we become progressively colorblind. It is better to remain silent than to mislead. And I think that's all I've got to say. I know that you are white lying. I white lie sometimes. My dad white lies sometimes. Your dad white lies sometimes. Everyone has done it. Try your best to get out of that habit. That's a bad habit to be into, because then people who seek honesty and truth aren't going to be coming to you all the time, especially if they notice you're white lying a lot. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that segment, and this is the end. So my question, or instead of a question, I'll say this. It's better to inspire than mislead. It's better to stay quiet than mislead. I hope you all enjoyed that super cool and a little bit longer segment than usual. I thank you all for listening to this, and I hope I didn't catch you off guard with that majestic title when it said white. But I really hope you all enjoyed that. White lies are a thing that I think are actually more of a problem than are good. And for the most part, people use them for bad rather than good. So I just wanted to bring that up out there and, just help someone grow. And if you'd like to let me know or talk about anything that I've done, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. As I mentioned before, my WhizDum Wednesdays will most likely be bi-weekly unless I do like a 2-parter series kind of the thing, because I want to make content for you that is funny. I got some funny content, make you get some little laughs in there. You know what I mean? I want to not be too serious all the time. I want to have a fun environment, but also, have that serious notion on it as well. It's like, hey, we're human. We got to do these kinds of things, But I appreciate all you watching, and if you guys would like any feedback or send me any feedback, I have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and TikTok now, actually, by the way, homies. I've actually gotten over 500 views on a couple of my TikToks. I'm actually surprised about that, not gonna lie. So you can find me on TikTok now. I've been told by 3 people. One of them was my instructor. I don't know if I can say the other one that has told me about getting TikTok or growing, and then there was Dixie. All 3 of them have pretty much told me. Okay, I don't know the third one that told me. Well, no, the third one was Dixie. All right, I don't know who the second one that told me was, but it was someone. I know I was told by somebody. But I was told by 3 people. I was like, all right, I'll take it as a sign. So I'm on TikTok now. So if y'all want to see me on TikTok, go check me out on there. It's gonna be the same thing as Instagram content, basically. I think it's funny. I'm gonna try to upload content, and I need to start uploading more content on Instagram. So I think that'd be really rad. I've also got Spotify and SoundCloud. You can look up WhizDum Wednesday on Spotify and SoundCloud, WhizDum Wednesday on Spotify or SoundCloud. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not buying my SoundCloud Premium, so I may not be all updated on Spotify or SoundCloud. So if you want all my updated VODs or videos, podcasts, they're going to be on YouTube. All of them are going to be on YouTube for sure. So if I'm not able to promote them very well on Spotify or SoundCloud, I will have them on YouTube for sure. And if you'd like to talk to me live while I do a WhizDum Wednesday stream, or just streams in general, I stream regularly from Monday and Wednesdays are definite days I stream. Sometimes within a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. It just depends on how the day goes. I don't stream on Sunday or Tuesdays for sure though. And it's twitch.tv/SirDerpyCreeper. I talk live with people and we have some good conversations in chat. Very, very good conversations. I enjoy having conversations that we do, and I guarantee you the conversation on this one may be really good because it's a thing everyone's done in their life. So I hope that's a good help. And crud, I'm gonna keep talking for an entire minute. So it's not like, oh wait, well, never mind. I don't have to talk for an entire minute. Probably not. I don't know. We'll just have to see. It just said 50 disgusting on my timer, so I'm a little scared. But anyway, I appreciate all of you watching, and I hope to see you in the next 2 weeks on WhizDum Wednesday. It'll be really super cool. Remember, inspire instead of mislead. Stay silent instead of misleading. Don't mislead other people. Don't fight for social acceptance. Don't sit there and make yourself look good. Don't dodge confrontation. Don't make excuses. Don't tell somebody, hey, this is okay when it's not. Or it's good when it's not. Anyway, until next WhizDum Wednesday, I hope you have a great rest of the week. See ya.